Let's talk about Jay Slater right now. Well, I mean, a few weeks ago, we were talking about this British teen on his very first holiday abroad, this innocent abroad who had gone missing. Now, more and more has been coming out about the 19-year-old British man, which is what he was, obviously going missing, hunt by his family, hunt by the police for him. Completely understand. No one would want someone to disappear in such circumstances, and we would always hope that this man could be found alive. But more is emerging. Let's talk about this with Mike Neville. He's a former Metropolitan Police Detective Chief Inspector. He also worked at the Missing Persons Unit at the Met, and he joins us in the studio. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Julia.
I think I was the first sort of person in the mainstream media, such as we are, to actually raise on the show, why are people not talking about the fact this man has got a conviction for the most horrific machete attack just a few years ago on another young man, I mean, with a whole gang of sort of feral youth. I thought that was kind of relevant. There's now an awful lot of other allegations going on about this man and the drug dealers apparently whose home he went to on the night he disappeared. Claims that he admitted to friends he had stolen a £12,000 Rolex that night, on the night he was at a club in Tenerife and was trying to sell it hours before he vanished. More and more is coming out. Is it any wonder it seems, other than in the media, bizarrely little sympathy for this case?
Yeah, it's really strange, and the Spanish police seem to have handled this really badly in the sense that they put all their eggs in the one basket of this search in this area, and I can see that that's probably where he is. If you look at all the evidence and the pinging of the mobile phone,
a number of different people.
Yeah. But however, to interview, they're offered assistance by Lancashire Police, and they interviewed in a very cursory way the two men who were at this Airbnb, and then allowed them to leave the country. Now we find out the guy received a 9-year sentence. I mean, that's a significant sentence, 9 years, for dealing Class A drugs in Wales, or attempting to do so. So how would you just... Yeah, and when we look
these were complete strange. We're told. So Jay Slater's on a holiday. He goes to this music festival, this big club. He leaves it in the early hours of the morning, travels with these two men who he apparently doesn't know, who are 20 years older than him, to a home he doesn't know. It turns out to be an Airbnb. These two men, one of them, did you say, has a conviction for... That ain't he had a bit of cannabis, is it? 9-year sentence for drug dealing. And they've left the country. We're told by the police in Tenerife that this has got nothing to do with the case. But there were suspicions, a lot of stuff. We've been told, I keep seeing media go, and terrible conspiracy theories online. Well, a lot of them, I mean, the stuff they were referring to as conspiracy theories included the fact that this young man has this conviction for a horrific crime himself involving this machete attack. These things are surely relevant. An innocent young boy abroad is very different from someone who's a convicted criminal who's gone with other convicted criminals in a different field, obviously, and that's where he's last been. That raises a completely different aspect to him going missing.
Well, there's often a tactic with the police. If the victim, when a crime or any victim, missing person, they do try and portray them as innocent because then they get more information.
Yeah.
If you say somebody's been murdered and they're a drug dealer, people think, well, they've got the comeuppance. Yeah. Whereas the police want to solve the crime, so they downplay that, and so it's goodies and baddies sort of thing. Yeah. With this, though, with the Spanish police, what I don't understand is that instead of putting all their eggs into one basket and looking at the element around the park, in the background, of course, they should have been doing all these inquiries, and it wouldn't have taken very much indeed to get hold of the guy's passport, ask the Lancashire Police for a PNC check, and would have revealed all, and then it would have flagged up these suspicions. And the conviction with Jay Slater, when you look at what the judge says when he sentences the gang, he mentions all sorts of things about drug dealing when he's doing that as well. So there is there's background
a lot of information.
There's a lot of information.
Also, by the way, the media saying, oh, it had suddenly emerged that he's got this conviction. The picture the media were using from word go was the picture that was used in the original news reports about the conviction for the machete attack. So, I mean, they all knew, everybody knew. And again, I'm also referring to him as a teenager. I mean, he's a 19-year-old man. Yeah. Look, I hope he's found safe and sound. Absolutely. I wouldn't want anyone to... I mean, God knows what has happened to him. What is you've looked at the missing person... You worked at missing person units. You looked for people before. What is your best guess, best estimate, best surmise?
Well, because of the ping on the mobile phone in this remote place, if I had to bet, I would say possibly exhausted, collapsed in that area.
But who plans to walk 11 hours home?
Well, if you're if you're 19, daft, if you've taken drugs, taken drink, you're not thinking sensibly, you do stupid
You're trying to run away from people?
Possibly. But then it involves a conspiracy of these other people who've given information, say, rang me up and said these things. Oh, he's lost and all that. So would these people involve these individuals to tell a lie? It seems that seems like a big conspiracy to involve other people. But they may be lying, but the Spanish police need to look into this. The other thing they've handled badly is the press. We're dealing with like a sort of life on Mars scenario where they're not telling the press what's going on. There's no press briefings. They call off the search, and there's no senior officer in front of everybody telling. So they've handled it badly, and they were offered assistance by Lancashire Police and foolishly refused it when they could have done all these checks and given all this intelligence.
The family's still out there. There is a crowd fund. It's got over £50,000, but there have been quite a few accusations online about what's going to be done with that money. The family have said that is going to go to any further efforts to search for Jay Slater. I really, really hope that he is found alive. I'm sure we all do. Wouldn't wish that on any family. But really interested to get your thoughts on all of this, Mike Neville. No doubt we'll talk to you about this again. Former Met Police Detective, Chief Inspector, worked in the Missing Person Units.